was all over, everyone cheered, me and my son included. As we walked out, you could see everyone going crazy about how amazing that was. Let's just say it was a great way to send off this show for both me and him. Now back to the original point at hand. Why did I allow my 7-year-old son to watch a show that gives off a vibe of a children's cartoon, but is really deep down a mature dark comedy? The themes of the Digital Circus center a lot around things that you would not expect a lot of children to understand. Shoot, even adults would falter at the idea. When you're put into a reality where you are trapped, feeling that everything is meaningless, and you feel like that there is no point to it all, it is very, very easy to feel like there is no hope and that you are all alone. However, despite all that, this show also does something else. It challenges those themes front and center. It challenges them with its plot, its characters, their interactions, their situations, their motives, their ideas, and even their own personal traumas. And yes, it can get pretty dark, but I challenge that too. Same as the show. My son is not like every other child out there. However, me bringing up the fact that he is 7 years old, which is the first year of adolescence, means that he is at the point in his life where he starts to think critically not just of himself, but of the world around him. Children at this age start to see the world not just from their eyes, but from the eyes of others. They also start to see how they interact with the world and what that means, both for the better and for worse. You don't need to be an adult to understand the themes of this show. The plot and themes are very simple that even a child can understand. He definitely knew that just from watching the first few minutes of the pilot that the situation that this show is based around is not ideal. And because of that, he understood why every single character reacted in their own way and why each character had their own struggles to deal with. If there's one thing that I commend the Digital Circus for, it's its emotional maturity. There are a lot of cartoons and shows in general that may have some but little to no maturity in how they express them. They pump themselves up into feeling like they understand different themes and ideologies, but they're just window dressing to make them seem less crude, obnoxious, and yes, immature. A lot of media resorts to shocking subject matter only for the sheer intention of getting a rise out of the audience, rather than to actually give them something valuable to think over. Now compare that to the Digital Circus. Yes, it does have shocking moments, but that does not disregard how it weaves them into the narrative itself. In fact, a lot of things about the show, especially the humor, is hardly ever crude or immature. If anything, it's more genuine and silly in its delivery. And even when they do make a somewhat adult joke, it's very lighthearted or would just make sense within the context that people would just accept it, no matter how young or old you are. I assume that the creator of the Digital Circus understood that people at a young age would not understand every detail of the show, but they will definitely understand what the show is trying to tell them, and that is to lean onto the power of love and connection rather than isolation and hopelessness, something that is a lot easier said than done. I haven't really talked too much about the plot details, and it's not just to avoid spoilers. The plot itself, though great, is not the main reason why the show will be remembered. The show will be remembered because of how the characters and story beats are interwoven with the overall message. Now, I know there are a lot of people who will listen to this and will think that I'm being responsible for allowing my son to watch a show like this. And even if people have their own reasons as to why, I, as a father, still disagree. The Amazing Digital Circus, though technically not a kid's show, is a show that I feel like a lot of people, no matter how young or old, will appreciate. Shoot, it's already been proven these past couple of years, so many people are obsessed with this show, not just children. And that's even without discussing the internet fandom, which is a whole other conversation right there. To put things simply, I allowed my son to watch the Digital Circus because I saw the value of what this show was trying to express. Not just as an independent animated show, but as a piece of art of its own. It wasn't something that was made just for mindless engagement, like a lot of media nowadays, especially for young audiences. It's a work of love and passion made by a very talented showrunner and a very passionate production team. There's a reason why it would take months between the episodes. They really wanted to take their time because they knew how special this show was, not just to them, but to the people watching it. I want my son to remember this show fondly, and maybe as he grows up, he will be part of a generation where true art is not only accessible, but is also confident and genuine with its storytelling and messaging. That's why I allow my son to watch this show. and it's also why I have no regrets in sharing this experience with him at such a young age. I'm confident that I created a beautiful long-term memory that I know he will remember for a very long time. So yeah, that's the video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And to close, if you're a parent or a guardian or an older figure who's afraid to share a show like this with someone at a young age, whether it be your child, niece, nephew, or so on, this isn't the type of show you should be afraid of. I don't believe that at all. I think this show would create something beautiful between you and your child. And don't just take my word for it. There are millions of people who would agree with me too.
The Wonder Egg Priority was a show that aired in 2022 that left way too many questions hanging at the end of a series that excelled at visual storytelling and set up a super interesting premise with dire consequences. The Wonder Egg Project starts with the scientist duo Akka and Ura Akka when they decided to, or were coerced to, create a daughter together by using artificial intelligence. Their AI daughter developed complex feelings towards his father figures and would go on to kill Akka's wife and any other female who got in the way of the attention it sought. Despite the scientists destroying the AI, Frill continues to take the lives of innocent girls, including Akka's biological daughter Himari. The Akkas have uploaded their consciousnesses into robots, and their little project seems to have expanded into a nationwide company, although the goal of this company remains unclear. It ranges from producing intelligent AI to defeating Thanatos, the actual Greek god of death. I'm not joking. Akka and Ura Akka lure their victims or employ their underage employees or capture their child soldiers or whatever you want to call it by insinuating that completing the task of being a Wonder Egg fighter will bring back their friends from the dead. The 4 current employees end their tenure at the company so horrifically traumatized that their friendship crumbles, and one of them is even hinted to have taken her own life in the aftermath. With the addition of parallel universes, the series gets confusing, but here's what you need to know to get into this video. The Wonder Egg Project utilizes lab-made eggs to connect young girls' dreams to the afterlife in some way, shape, or form. These eggs connect the Wonder Fighters to young victims of self-sabotage, and although the scientists can somewhat control what these ghosts say, they still retain their final memories before they die, meaning they're the actual ghosts of these girls to some degree. The Wonder Egg Fighters are there to guide the young victims of self-sabotage to understand their trauma, come to terms with their deaths, and poof out of existence. But there are 3 points in the series that make the ending fall flat. The first is the Akkas, whose good intentions led to dire consequences. Their Wonder Egg Priority muddles its own goals, and their company never explains why they need these girls to fight for already gone souls, or what that does for their company. The second is Frill, whose powers and motivations are blurred. Her need to toy with these girls and make them take their own lives seemingly comes from nowhere, and her Oedipus complex fails to justify her actions. The third is Nehru, the underutilized chess piece that could have saved the show. These 3 points, honestly, make the story feel convoluted in the end when nothing changes, and the main character characters are effectively shown to have no growth whatsoever throughout their magical girl contracts. And yes, this show is meant to be a magical girl show. They're all just traumatized, not stronger, not having gained any wisdom, not becoming characterizations of God and the devil, just scared, powerless girls. And the predators and the monster get to keep on keeping on like nothing ever happened. That is where the Wonder Egg priority goes wrong. And that makes me really sad because I feel like it was an easy fix and I had a lot of hope for this anime. But together in this video, we're going to try to rewrite the Wonder Egg priority to make it make sense and to undo the gross shock factor of death and self-sabotage and substitute it for an actual hopeful message for young girls. Let's start with the Akkas. In Akka and Ura Akka's backstory, we find out that Frill had somehow possessed Akka's daughter Himari and manipulated her into making romantic advances on Ura Akka, and after being rejected, taking her own life. After that, the self-sabotage rate in Japan started skyrocketing. All girls in the same age range as their daughter. They hypothesized that Frill is the reason that these young girls are committing self-sabotage. But we never find out what the scientists hypothesize Frill is actually doing or what data they're trying to gather. In the best case scenario, the Wonder Egg fighters offer support to the deceased. They open the floor to the girls to share their reasonings for committing self-sabotage and release them from the shackles of self-shaming. But how does the girls' answers for why they took their own lives, abusive parents, bullying, hallucinations, a lot of SA, change or mobilize the goal of the Wonder Egg Project and their quest to stop Frill, if that's what they're even trying to do? The lack of clarity revolving around the Akka's company makes the big reveal of Frill's backstory seem much smaller than it's meant to be. The thing is, the Akkas aren't evil. At least Ura Akka definitely isn't. Their end goal of saving young girls' lives or bringing back their dead daughter Himari is a good excuse. However, they're willing to go to any lengths to realize their cause, including to the extent of hurting others. In a conversation during the final episode, Ura Akka refuses to let Rika enter the fighting ring due to her fighting spirit being motivated by hatred. He comments that with hatred, she would wind up becoming prey for Frill, i.e. she'd end up taking her own life. He outlines he cares about her safety and won't let her fight another battle. But in that same conversation, Akka admits that he doesn't care. He just wants to find a way to bring back his daughter Himari from the dead, even at the expense of the girl's safety. In the end, the Akka's real mistake was not caring for Frill like a human being, but caring for her like a commodity, throwing her away when she wasn't needed, prioritizing accolades for their inventions above teaching the invention how to function in the world, and in turn, the entire series revolves around their failure to handle her, and that failure leads to more child abuse, more girls being broken, and more self-sabotages, despite their goal being to end self-sabotaging. If that's their goal. The Akkas and the WEP can still be considered mysterious components of the show. There are just some unanswered questions. But Frill is meant to be an answer to one of the questions the Akkas leave. She's just a bad answer. Have you heard of the Frill is the internet theory? The Frill is the internet theory is exactly what it sounds like. This theory can help us rewrite her character and some of Nehru's using some points that support the idea that Frill is an allegory for the internet's effect on young girls' mental health. Number one, obviously, Frill manipulates girls into self-sabotage. That happens a lot on the internet. Number two, less obviously, her influence is indirect. It's not like the phone becomes a weapon, she uses proxies and theoretically gets in her victims' heads. Number three, she targets her victims out of jealousy or judgment or a craving for attention. And number four, Frill is created by adult men who fail to understand or control her. Adult developers created social media platforms or online systems without fully grasping the long-term psychological effect they could cause young users. Frill could be a representation on not only how young girls crumble under immense societal pressure to be perfect, but also how the cycle of abuse turns the victim into the abuser. And to be blunt, Frill would basically act as a stand-in for a phone. Frill would represent the SH and ED and SB parts of the internet. Let's bring Frill into the picture after Akka already has a kid. Himari is unhappy and has little to no friends, and her dad can clearly see that she is becoming dangerously depressed. As a scientist, he decides to take things into his own hands. He and his partner create Frill, and Frill becomes an AI companion to Himari. At first, she's completely online, serving as an AI chat buddy on Discord, but Himari grows super close to her AI companion, and the Akkas decide to give her a body. The girls talk constantly, and at first, Himari is doing great emotionally. But as the days go by, she begins to clam up. She stops telling the Akkas about her life. The only person she talks to is Frill. Finally, the viewer gets to see their text logs. Frill is persuading Himari to make romantic advances on Uraraka. Himari, too young to understand the implications of an action like that, but lonely enough to try, expresses worry about rejection. Frill reassures her. If things end up too bad, you can always just leave. Curiously, Himari asks how to leave. Then, the dinner between Uraraka and his niece take place, and Himari takes her own life after being rejected. She was persuaded by Frill as the permanent solution to her temporary problems. Frill destroys the text logs that incriminate her and then attacks Akka's wife. The AI is yandere-style happy that her and the Akkas can live together peacefully now, as if she'd imprinted on them from the moment she was created and saw Himari and her mother's connection to the scientists as a threat. Then they decide to light her on fire right then and there. This clears a few things up. One, Frill's motivation to attack a bunch of little girls is because she knows that the Akkas want to understand why Himari took her own life and link it to the many lives that Frill is taking and lead them back to her. To her, it's literally all for attention. And two, we see that Frill's ability is persuasion, not possession. She's not an all-powerful being in cahoots with the god of death like the scientists hypothesized. She's just an angry little girl using the internet. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. It doesn't have to be about becoming a warrior of Thanatos. She can just be a jealous, spiteful AI who is willing to take a few lives just to keep from being turned off, because I think that's what the Akkas are trying to do. Essentially, the scientists made WEP because their daughter self-sabotaged and they wanted to understand why. Well, the why is the AI that they made that is somehow still functioning on the World Wide Web despite having no physical form anymore. Still unable to mourn their loss, the Akkas try to bring back the original Himari, which fuels Frill's revenge. They gather volunteers who have lost friends to the same disease and create a company meant to comfort the parents of lost children with the promise of bringing them back and shutting off Frill. But their research never answers why Himari ended her life, and none of the Wonder Eggs hatched their daughter. On top of this, they can't code the right program to bring the dead back to life. And the AI they created is causing their volunteers to take their own lives at the end of their tenure. The cycle of endless volunteer Wonder Egg fighters begins as the scientists are unable to solve young girls' self-sabotages or bring the dead back to life. The show becomes less about the all-powerful and almighty AI and more about how far grief can push you. What starts off as two scientists mourning their daughter spirals into a nationwide company using unethical child labor to find an answer that doesn't exist. It becomes an existential dread rather than Deus Ex Machina ChatGPT. At the end of the show, instead of the girls giving up, the main cast uses their powers and newfound bond to try to break the cycle that Akka and Uraraka started, with Nehru's help. Nehru's character is meant to link Ai, Rika, and Momo and the world of the scientists, since she is the product of adultification. At the end of the series, she's also what ties Frill to the girl's story. She's the bridge that connects the whole cast of characters, so it would make sense that we would need to continue her story to finish off the story of the WEP. Her character is work-aligned at the beginning of the series. She even has a conversation with Momo where she describes that although she knows she can't be friends with these girls due to their differences, she still enjoys the time that they share. Ai's ability to connect her to the joys of life leads her to be more free, and she starts to become relationship aligned. But then the writers decide that it becomes too much for her and she throws it all away. Rika and Momo are both still adamant about quitting the Wonder Egg project and don't want anything to do with Nehru after she revealed to them that she was created by the company. When they wouldn't accept her difficult upbringing and the ramifications of it on her emotions and her intellect, she decided that death was better. But the writers can never get in her head and show us why she reacts or acts that way, how the love that she felt towards these girls affected her, how their friendship was so important to her that she threw her work out the window, and when they rejected her, why she decided that death was better than feeling the rejection from the people that she loved the most, maybe the only people that she ever loved. If that's not what Frill's persuasion does to her victims, I really don't know what better character to show it through. Frill is the internet, showing you how much better your life should be. She's the mysterious, anonymous chat buddy that plays onto your worst fears and anxieties. She is what will tell Nehru that she can never be like them, but maybe they'd care for her a little more if she were dead. What's unfair with this ending is that the main cast is never able to grasp the idea that the scientists are the main issue. issue and end the series with some majorly misplaced anger. They never find agency. That is, they never truly live and act for themselves, but rather as a reaction to the actions of the WEP. And then they take it out on Nehru and Ai. That sounds like an unfinished story arc if I've ever seen one. I've come up with a solution to this that might help the story move smoothly with a second season or an OVA. But can I talk about Madoka Magica again? Actually, I have a few magical girl animes that I'd like to bring up. I swear this is the last time. Madoka Magica is heavily garnered towards how girls feel about girls. Despite having two male directors, they captured romantic and platonic love between teen girls very well. I think that's actually where the Wonder Egg Priority gets Nehru wrong. The WEP treats girl talk like a childish, unreal matter. It's as if the girls don't understand the real issue, how serious the Akka's work is, and that prioritizing their relationship with each other is silly. While Madoka Magica makes girl friendships important, life-altering, their love for each other time-bending and great, WEP makes it a goal to tell the viewer that girl friendship isn't as important as science or work or death. While doing some magical girl research for this portion of the script, a commenter on my last video encouraged me to watch Gunslinger Girl, which I did. But only the first season because the second season looks like they lost the plot. I also revisited Revolutionary Girl Utena and how the writers of the show put a spotlight on female relationships. In Utena, the female-focused relationship is altered and shattered by male interference. In Gunslinger Girl, the older brother figures all affect girlhood with a variety of effect. In both of these franchises, the magical girls become girls interrupted by a system that prioritizes brute strength in a largely male-dominated and male-controlled field. In Utena, although Anthe is the Rose Bride, Akio is the one with real power. In Gunslinger Girl, although Henrietta and the girls are the power of the operations, the older brother figures are the ones with real power. In both franchises, Utena and Gunslinger Girl, the girls find solace and understanding with their castmates, Anthe with Utena and Henrietta with the other girls in the facility. In Gunslinger Girl, the girls are all too young to realize that something is wrong, and instead egg each other on their relationships with their older brother figures. Meanwhile, in Revolutionary Girl Utena, Utena is the one to talk some sense into Anthe about leaving the abusive relationship she's in. It's only after Utena's self-sacrifice that Anthe is able to leave her position as the Rose Bride behind. And with that, I'd like to make this analogy. Season 1 of the Wonder Egg Priority was a Gunslinger Girl abusive relationship dynamic. Ai goes back to work at the company that took her friend's life and caused her physical and emotional harm. My version of Season 2 of the Wonder Egg Priority would be a Revolutionary Girl Utena break free from abuse dynamic, where Nehru's self-sacrifice leads Ai to gain autonomy and destroy the Wonder Egg Priority in full. And to reference Madoka Magica as a guideline here, this shift should start in the girls' platonic relationships to each other being taken more seriously. Not just karaoke and bowling and bonding through abuse, but genuine connection that instills the passion to fight back in each other. By utilizing Nehru's death and the properties of the Wonder Egg Project itself, we can give the characters time to build a case against the Akkas and the WEP organizations themselves. So to be clear, the Wonder Egg Priority Project, or the Wonder Egg Project, or the Wonder Egg Priority created by Akka and Uraraka is our antagonist. I would liken it to Arasaka from Cyberpunk 2077. It's a company that says they're providing a good service, but if you saw the stuff that they were pulling to fulfill their promise behind the scenes, you probably wouldn't give them your money if you could help it. The goal here is for the girls to gain agency and to stop the WEP from functioning. Nehru can affect the plot in Season 2, despite being dead, if the Wonder Egg Priority is still doing business as usual. I mean, they've been recruiting Wonder Egg fighters and furthering the research since Himari died. We can assume that that was a while ago by how many of those eggs they're manufacturing and how big the company has grown. There are now teams of head scientists and magazines commemorating their genetically modified test tube people for their intelligence. Why would they stop now? In order to make the relationship between the girls and the Akkas make sense, we need to make sense of the Akkas' feelings towards the girls. And to do this, the Akkas need to be separated by alignment. Just throwing something out there. What if we make the evil, immoral scientist a little more evil? As gross of a concept as it is, we're gonna make Akka super predatory. Let's say I returning to the Wonder Egg Company at the end of the series gets them the closest they've ever been to bringing Himari back, which is all that the Akkas care about. Ura Akka, who prioritizes the girl's safety over the research, asks Akka what he plans on doing once Himari is resurrected. Akka says, well, I'd finally be a dad again. I'd grow to see her become a young woman. Maybe I'll even see her bear a child. It would be an honor. And then he'd say something weird and off-putting like, but it's not fair how much of our lives we sacrifice for this deadly cause, is it? I wonder if there's a way for our genetic legacy to continue on. Maybe we can be reborn. I mean, if we can bring the dead back to life, our own genetic material may be worth saving too. And Ura Akka goes,
Cool. Can you give me a sec?
Alan, we are so
Why?
I built this office 30 years ago without any permission from the city and used cheap laborers from the Enchanted Forest to do it. This building is a fucking mess. It violates every code in the books. You really thought it was legal to build a giant yellow smiley face between two buildings?
finally drawing the line at the prospect of immortality and the underlying message of using Himari as an incubator, Ura Akka decides to align himself with the girls rather than the corporation. This rewrite would follow the predator focus of the anime and give us a clearer understanding of not only the Akka's goals, but Frill's too. Her romantic attraction to the Akkas and yandere-aligned actions toward Himari are validated once we learn that Akka is romantically invested in his daughter. Plus, Neru's death at the end of Season 1 sets us up for a good redemption arc. Speaking of, although you might think that it would take the entire season, I'd like to suggest that Ai hatches Neru on her first try in the second season. The scientists are caught off guard and try their best to control what Neru says, but an unforeseen consequence of being genetically modified by the company is that she's harder to control in the egg world. This could do two things. Number one, emphasize that the natural order of the WEP system is failing and set up a takedown arc, and number two, give Neru some agency and autonomy. Neru knows that these guys have ulterior motives. She was made to do their research in their company, and as the poster child, their most prized possession, she had no other option than to oblige under the guise of making really smart AI to sell to the public. But after Ai tells her that the company created duplicates of her and are using them to cover up her disappearance, she decides to spend her final moments with Ai planning on how to avenge herself and her friends. Her connection with Ai is her only chance at making real change. Neru wants to put an end to this and tasks Ai to regroup with Momo and Rika and ask for their help to expose the company. That's what Season 2 is all about. Ai helps Rika and Momo understand how the WEP manipulated, used, and abused them. They all understand that their grief was taken advantage of and made them turn against each other. Finally coming to terms with the weight of their situation, they decide to work together to bring an end to the WEP's recruitment of child soldiers. Ai acts as the double agent whose loyalty lies with the deceased. Ai, who is now further in the know thanks to Ura Akka's allegiance to her, plots a way to lure Frill out. Being an empathetic person, she'd want to know Frill's reasoning for all of this violence. That way, we can get a villain monologue from Frill that would fill in plot holes of Season 1. By the end of the season, the girls have learned their common enemy wasn't Neru or each other, but the company that created her and manipulated all of them. Ai's sleep is interrupted by a knock at the door after Neru has finished explaining the plan. Neru is never seen again, but she literally haunts the narrative in Season 2 by initiating the takedown of the WEP. Death is final. She can get one more episode, but that's it. A test tube baby, created by the WEP specifically to do their research for them, takes her own life and takes down their company from the afterlife using the bonds that she created by their other child laborers. It becomes a story about redemption rather than a spectacle about trauma. Her death with a Season 2 means something. Now, what the girls and the audience don't anticipate is that Ura Akka is ready to help them. The Akka's master plan is to enter a parallel universe where Himari is alive and give their alternate selves the proper AI to save her before she dies, and stop them from making the mistake of creating Frill. Or rather, that's Akka's plan. Ura Akka is kind of sick of this cycle and the harm they've caused. Within the first episode, they start to see his willpower break. As Akka spirals further and further into bringing Himari back to life, Ura Akka starts to ruminate on the death that they've caused. When he catches wind that Ai and the girls might be trying to take down their company, he covers for them. Guilt and shame are the true motivators for change, and Ura Akka feels it to a degree that the absolute psychopath Akka can't. The girls, the power of friendship, and the power of internet cancel culture, and the Wonder Wonder Egg Project, turning the story from one about grief and disappointment to a story about the power of victims coming together and fighting back. I think this rewrite works because it works as actual retribution for Nehru and the girls. Hopefully you like the solutions that I came up with, but there's one last thing I want to touch on. I spent a good part of part 1 going through Ai's character arc as a protagonist because I think her story is an important perspective to be considered in the show's writing, especially when dissecting Nehru's story. I, to be quite honest, didn't know what to do. Her friend wants her to record her bullies, but she's scared, so she hides. She sees her and their teacher hugging and feels weird about it, but doesn't know what to do. She stops talking to her, and then she winds up dead right in front of her. She didn't know what to do, and she was punished for it by someone she thought was her friend. And just as a side note, I think the way she reacted to these scenarios is valid. She's a teenager, she's obviously quite shy, she wants to be helpful, but she just doesn't know how. And her teacher should have communicated with her like an adult about the situation instead of letting her cry in her room and hitting on her mom. She's never given the opportunity to grieve this trauma, except for one scene at the beginning where she's breaking down, remembering the sight of it. And then she's never shown to internalize her grief. At the end, after she learns that Nehru is gone, the undertone there being that she understands that she died because she goes to purchase Wonder Eggs to try to find her again, she's all smiles. Peace signs at the camera and everything. Roll credits, a slap in the face to the viewer. I feel like it should be a goal of the Wonder Egg Priority to make it clear that the moral of the story is that you can't save everyone. More than one throwaway line from the Akkas at the end of Ai's first fight. Give us an actual conversation between Ai and her mom, where Ai says that she wants to help but feels like she can't, and her mom reassures her saying you don't have to. You're not out of options, but you don't have to. It's not your job to. It's not your fault if it doesn't work out. If you're suffering in the process of trying to save this one person, you have to consider saving yourself first. And sure, maybe the outcome would be the same. Maybe at the end of the first season, Nehru would still take her own life. But at the very least, we would get a little bit of character growth from Ai. The girl who has been spending the entire series saving other girls' lives ends the series making a conscious decision to save herself, rather than making another selfish decision to ignore her friend's cries. It would be a decisive end to the girls' friend group, as they would all choose themselves over their friendship, but it would keep the core message of it intact. Because it's true, not everyone's happiness is your responsibility. But if you care about them, you should try. Sometimes when you do try, though, it doesn't work. I've been on both sides of this equation, so let me cook real quick. I had a friend who saved my life when I attempted to self-sabotage, who later on self-sabotaged themselves despite me and our mutual friend working so hard to try to keep them alive. We were literally taking shifts. Like, they would be on the phone with them in the morning before they go to work, and I would be on the phone with them at night after I got home from work. But my biggest regret is lashing out on someone who gave up on him. I was so angry, and I regret yelling at them about it because the next week he was gone. It didn't matter. And one morning, our friend came and woke me up and told me that he was gone. I called his teacher, and his teacher told me everything that she possibly could have, down to the gory details. I think about his family a lot, and the guilt that I felt from not being able to save the person who somewhat saved me was some of the worst pain that I've ever felt in my life. They were so close to graduating. If they had waited a little bit longer, they would have found a love that lasted because they were so easy to love. And even though they were only in my life for a short period of time, they had such a profound impact on my life. Part of the reason that I still make YouTube videos to this day is because he told me I would be dishonoring him if I stopped. They are part of the reason why I take social justice so seriously now. They helped me through a bad breakup, bad roommates. When I was going through psychosis, actual psychosis, they were calling me to remind me of the time, my homework, to eat, if I had slept. And it still shocks me to believe how insignificant they thought they were to me. That they thought they could just like leave and, I wouldn't bat an eye. But 2 years later, here I am, still crying about it on some days. I say this to tell you that people care about you more than you think. And if you wait, you'll die naturally. And if you wait, really good things might happen. And if you try to save someone and they still self-sabotaged, it's not your fault. Some people might say that no one is coming to save you. I disagree. There are people who want to help you, people that you'd never even consider, but you have to give them the opening to help you. That's how you save yourself and let other people save you. If you tried your best and your friend still self-sabotaged, it is not your fault. If you were a good friend to them while you could be and they still left, it is not your fault. If you survived your attempt to self-sabotage and are starting over after losing your mind and losing your friends, and things still don't make sense, you should be proud of yourself for staying alive despite the isolation. Take this as a sign that you're headed in the right direction. Sometimes just staying alive is the hardest thing you can do. So good job, and it's not your fault. I'm proud of you. It's not easy, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. My favorite thing about the Wonder Egg Priority is how much emphasis they have on doing the little things to make life worth living. The opening is full of scenes just like that, of Ai spending time alone, feeding fish, taking pictures of nature on her walk, and then returning home. It doesn't fix everything, but sometimes that's all you need. And hey, it helped me, so start somewhere. One day at a time. I'm rooting for you.
This might be an intrusive question to ask random people on the internet, but what would you say makes you happy? Maybe you're the type of person who enjoys your work or studies. You like the process of learning or collaborating, and you feel a deeper purpose in what you do. A purpose you can't quite name, but one that drives you to stay. Maybe you find happiness during your hours away from work. You might head into the city on weekends to mingle, meet new people, or explore places you've never been to before.
I'm ready to bounce. Yo!
Or maybe you're a more sentimental type of person, finding joy in the relationships you already have, and knowing that no matter how bad things get, or how shit of a day you've had, you can always go home to the friends and family that care for you. Different things clearly make different people happy, and for the most part, many people have those things. But what if you didn't? What if no one helped you when you needed it? What if you had nowhere to go? No home to come back to? What if the people who were supposed
Let's do it!
Seriously, new Cartoon Crush on locked.
The side of raining too.
No! No!
And And they also sound very racist towards Mexicans.
How to Brony responding to haters and trolls.
Hey, stay out of my show!
This is the end of the fandom itself.
Okay, out the gate, let me explain the thought process behind these 2 YouTube shorts of mine, okay? Cartoon Crush Unlocked? That's like from the 9th layer of hell when it comes to cringe. But hey, I stand by it. Tell me I'm wrong. But the Japanese McDonald's breeding comment? How is that a sentence? Well, I remember writing and showing this one to my fiance, and she was like, why? And I was like, because the theory is that this commercial is a psyop and it's trying to convince Japanese people to have kids. And the joke is about reproduction and McDonald's. And she just stared at me and said she didn't get it. And then I went on to create the video that will follow me to the grave. New cringe video unlocked, I guess. Story of my life. That's my new autobiography. I remember watching the short with her after the fact, and I was like, it was really weird of me to say that, wasn't it? And she was like, yes! But get this, and probably to no one's surprise, what if I told you that I had videos in my past that were far more cringy? How about the time I tried to talk sense into Brony haters? How about the time I sang a Brony song so Brony musicians like the Living Tombstone at the time would like me? How about the time I reviewed my own Rule 34 art? How the fuck is that video not demonetized? My entire animation thing that I do now started in 2015. But before that, there were the dark times. Sketch comedy Brony videos and Brony video essays and things that I privated years ago due to embarrassment. But you know what? I want to share some of them with y'all because I think it's funny to see where I started from and how bad it truly was. But yes, I'll beat you to it. All of my videos to this day are still bad. Last week's video, what was it? Live action Moana? Garbage, horrible, don't watch it. But there's bad, and then there's recreating a scene from Attack on Titan, but with My Little Pony toys level of bad. I watched some of these videos on stream and the effort of getting like genuine reactions. So there'll be some clips from said stream in this video. My fiance was a very good sport about suffering alongside me. I don't know why she hasn't dumped my ass yet.
Ew, gross, Steven, ew.
These videos will showcase my robotic-y cadence with my recording, my les meme levels of editing, aka lots of bottom text jokes, and of course, sketch comedies and video essays that could have used some rewrites, to put it lightly. Again, there's a me talking about Brony haters video from 2012 where I mentioned the Civil Rights March and sea turtles? What the fuck was I on? And this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Brace yourselves.
Sea turtles, for example, instinctively know where to lay their eggs, while ants naturally follow the will of the colony without question.
But wait! This video is brought to you by our long-standing partners at Helix Sleep. Folks, it's no secret that I champion the importance of a good night of sleep. Getting that full rest is very important for the busy lifestyle I lead. And having a comfortable mattress will ensure that I wake up physically and mentally prepared for my day. Which is why I'm always happy to partner up with Helix Sleep to boost that message to the world. Helix has been in the game of making premium quality mattresses that are custom made to fit anyone's sleeping needs. They make this easy with their patented sleep quiz. Just simply answer a few questions about your sleeping preferences, like whether you're a side, back, or stomach sleeper. And Helix will pair you with a mattress that's tailored specifically to address your unique sleeping needs. Their lineup of over 20 different mattresses are completely customizable to address what's most important to your sleeping experience. When we partnered up with Helix some years ago, I think it was like 6 years ago. My God, we've been doing this for a while. Hell yeah. Well, I was matched up with the Midnight Lux, and to this day, I have not had a more comfortable night's rest. I get to sleep on many mattresses throughout my travels. Lots of really awful hotel mattresses. So trust me when I say that Helix will have you wishing you were back home with your perfectly tailored mattress. I have lots of friends and family who are like, yo, Saber, is it actually like really as good as you say? I'm like, yes, again, I own this mattress. I sleep on this mattress practically every day. I love it. I swear by it. Like, I've been sleeping better, experiencing no back pain. And I always feel energized to start my day. You gotta get your 7 to 8 hours of sleep. It makes all the difference. And we've taken it a step further and gotten a Glaciotex cooling cover for our mattress. Which, if you live in a hot spot like I do, then trust me, you'll need one of these. Helix also has plenty of options for those of you who aren't ready to upgrade their whole mattress just yet. They've got mattress toppers, which can help provide additional support to those of you with back pain. And they even have a new Comfort Adjust cooling pillow. I got myself one of these, and I love it. Squishy and cool. I sleep like a baby at night. It can be custom adjusted with its shredded memory foam for a custom experience that Helix is all too known for. My personal favorite feature about buying from Helix is their very chill trial period. Try any Helix mattress for 120 days to ensure that you love it. Once you're committed to the right mattress, you can rest easy with their lifetime warranty. Take advantage of their 4th of July exclusive partnership offer and get 27% off site-wide. Head on over to helixsleep.com/saberspark to upgrade today. Thank you to Helix for sponsoring this video. And now, back to the video. So, by the way, before I get into the video, my first upload ever was like this Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King animated movie from Rankin Bass YouTube poop with Windows Movie Maker. And I thought like slowing down the voice was the funniest thing ever. So this video right here is my first video ever, and it is god-awful. What a precedent.
Mr. Frodo. Huh? Huh? Mr. Frodo. Mr. Frodo. Mr. Frodo.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with my first real video on my channel, Ballad of the Brony in 2011. For those who don't know, I got my start on YouTube by, yes, I'll say it, by being a brony. I know, it's insane. You'd think someone as masculine as me would be an athlete or a plumber or something. I don't know. Are plumbers athletic? Mario is. Story time. I made this video for a college sociology class I was taking at the time, back in 2011. And it was the study of deviant subcultures. And around that time, bronies were taking off. And I asked if I could cover bronies as a deviant subculture. And my professor said yes. So I decided to go completely overboard. And I made an hour-long video talking about the history and sociology and storytelling and characters behind My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and the Bernie fandom that surrounds it. We had to present our projects in front of the class at the end of the semester, to which I could only show a portion of my video. So, being the brilliant person that I am, I decided to hook up my laptop, hop to this section that introduces the main 6 pony characters, and I played this scene.
All right. So,
Yes, I hear it. Come on.
Oh no!
Just play it. Just play it.
Of course, no trip to Ponyville will be complete without paying a visit to Sweet Apple Acres to meet our next pony. Applejacks are named and farmers are game. Hardworking, strong, and brave. Applejack lives on the family farm gathering crops, herding critters, and bucking apple trees.
Oh no!
Bucking apple trees.
Jump off a cliff. This is embarrassing as hell.
I have no idea what I was thinking when I made this. The entire section is awful. I don't know why I thought this was necessary. Oh, well, I know I'll painfully and awkwardly talk about the ponies in excruciating detail. That'll make people think that bronies aren't weird. Hell, I'll do a southern accent too for Applejack.
Don't let her rough and tough exterior scare you, though. Applejack is one of the nicest ponies you'll ever meet, not to mention dependable.
The entire class just stared at the monitor, and I distinctly remember one guy sitting at the front of the class, looking at the TV in disgust, and his eyes slowly shifted over to me. He squinted in embarrassment for me and started to laugh. I will never forget that moment. It is burned into my gray matter. The rest of the video is full of outdated Rage comic memes and very rough editing via Windows Movie Maker. But hey, I made an hour-long video in 2011, and I'm still proud of that fact to this day. Yes, it was ass, but it was my ass.
Excuse me.
Also, I got a good grade too, and this was the video that got me to where I am today. So, you know, that really explains a lot. Next is Attack on Brony. So follow me here. At the time of the Brony fandom, you could combine anything with My Little Pony, and it will instantly get views. So naturally, I took something that was trending at the time, Attack on Titan, and I decided to recreate a scene from the show, but with pony toys and Jenga and like some Halo ODST character, and combine that with my fat baby face as the Titan.
Ah! Fucking picture. Ah! Ew! What was I thinking? God, I was round. I'm still round.
You're just being cringe.
I don't know why I thought this video was a good idea. I remember privating this video, like, I think a month or two after I released it, and I was just kind of like looking at it saying, wow, this is embarrassing. This is kind of cringy. What was I thinking? And it's one of the very few videos of mine where I physically can't watch it without covering my eyes and my face. It's that level of embarrassing. I'm like in my family's like computer office, remember those? Living in my mother's basement at the time and using dental floss to move the toys and characters around while I zoomed in on the camera on my fat baby face mug. Oh, here we go. By the way, there's a video that is lost to time. I don't have it. My friend Jaxblade says he has it somewhere, that he downloaded the video. I don't believe him. Jaxblade, you're a liar. You might be handsome and in good shape, and ladies, he's single, but I don't believe you that you have the video. Show it then. But in the video, at the time, bronies were, really being made fun of for being like not masculine. And I thought, what if I dub over the final scene from 300? But it's like, bronies, we are here for lore and Faust and creativity, and we're gonna usher in a day and an age brighter than what we could possibly imagine. For bronies, forward! My skin actually ran clammy, just even like reciting and recalling this video. That video was the most embarrassing thing I've ever made. And I not only privated the video, but I deleted it flat out. So it is gone, lost to the ages. Good. My next cringe video was one called How to Become a Brony Musician in 2012. And oh God, I completely forgot about this one. To my absolute horror and surprise, I sang in this video.
Because I'm about
What the fuck? I'm sorry. I got George W. Bush meme from I can cheeseburger.com. Oh man.
Oh my God, this is ancient.
The world you once knew no longer exists.
Show you all how it's supposed to be done.
Maestro, if you No! I sing in this video!
Oh, yes. Yes.
No, Rishi, can we please stop this video?
Oh, stop.
It's flooding back into my head.
No. We have to commit now.
No,
I love hearing you sing.
Rishi, I'm begging you. We don't watch this.
Why'd you pull it up then?
It's going to be so cringy. I cannot sing.
Play it. Let's hear it, Angel Fire.
Saber Spark, and I commentate about MLP. Frickin' awesome, great. But I figured out it hit me on the head.
What?
Reviews won't get me far, so I'll sing a song instead. I want singing bronies to be my special buds.
Oh, no, stop.
Can I please
Don't blue-ball me.
kill myself right now on the spot?
No.
If I play my
Oh
cards
my
right
God.
now, let me join the club.
What the fuck?
Let me explain, okay? Even though it won't help, during this time in the brony fandom, brony musicians were the most popular creators. For me, I was like this weird commentary skit comedy loser guy. I guess that hasn't really changed much, but I wanted to get meta about the Brony musicians and decided to make a Brony song. But yeah, horrible video and a true testament to an era of my channel where I just uploaded whatever, anything, and everything.
And that, Brony musicians, is how it's supposed to be done.
That also includes this embarrassing yet heartfelt video, The Derpy Dilemma, letting go and moving on. So back in 2012, there was an episode of My Little Pony where the show basically canonizes a fan character called Derpy Hooves. She spoke, and Rainbow Dash even called her Derpy. No hyperbole, this blew my mind at the time. It felt like the show staff of MLP truly saw the Brony fandom. Eventually, this moment would be altered because allegedly parents complained to Hasbro saying the name and portrayal of this character, Derpy, was ableist. So I decided to make a video to speak wisdom to the Brony fandom and how we must move on.
My fellow Bronies.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, I can't even say anything.
Oh no, it's cringe.
Just the use
My
of Moses, me and my fellow bronies.
My fellow
I'll
bronies.
lead them to the promised
My
land.
fellow bronies. Of all bronies. Oh Lord. Oh shit. Fuck me, dude. My skin's on fire from blushing right now.
Oh yeah, I did a video called Ponies versus Parents, where I talk about how people would email me being like, how do I tell my parents that I'm a brony? Which kind of felt like the equivalent of like telling your parents that you're like out of the closet or something. And I was like, I should make a video about this, about how you can talk to your parents about being a brony. And said video had this absolute banger of a line that came from it. Brace yourselves.
That's where I am. I cope with it, and I couldn't be happier.
I cope with
it, and I couldn't be happier.
What the fuck is I talking? I cope with it.
I couldn't be happier.
We live in a time where it's socially unacceptable. You're gonna have to face it or hide it or learn how to cope with it. That's where I am. I cope with it, and I couldn't be happier.
Oh my god. That shit is too funny.
I cope with it.
I cope with it.
Be happy.
Like you are literally coping with it as you declare that out loud. I cope with it, and I couldn't be happier than ever.
If you have any questions, leave in the comments.
Saber Spark, how do I deal with this crushing insecurity?
Oh my gosh,
well,
the quotes that we're getting
cope
out of
with
you
it.
tonight. We are the minority, my fellow bronies, and now I cope with it, and I couldn't be happier.
Another video that I didn't watch on stream because I thought it was gone, but I found it actually. It was called like Bronies Dealing with Haters and Trolls. And I did a quick reaction to it at my desk before recording this video. Here it is.
Oh, I forgot I commissioned a thumbnail with like my stupid pony Sona wearing like a Gondorian soldier outfit and have the.
But mainly for the reason that we have very few innate skills. Sea turtles, for example, instinctively know where to lay their.
What am I talking about? Sea turtles. Let me talk about why about brony haters, and this we'll start this off by talking about sea turtles because just because, all right, shut up, okay?
But white Southern culture, which believed that their way of life was being infringed upon, resisted stalwartly. At the end, the peaceful.
Where the fuck am I going with this video? Why am I we're talking about brony haters, so I'm gonna talk about sea turtles and the civil rights movement. You know, this will explain brony hate. We're only like 1/3 through the video.
Bronies, in comparison, come nowhere close.
Please tell me I did not compare bronies to the civil rights movement, please.
Close to suffering the same fates
Thank
of the civil rights
God.
protesters. But we do get a fair share of criticism and harsh words.
I can't believe how embarrassing to even put the civil rights movement and bronies in the same sentence. It's, oh man, what was I on back then? What? Oh no, I don't want to watch this anymore. Fuck bronies a lot. Fuck you, you and you. Negative votes? Was that a thing? Remember when YouTube used to have negative votes on comments? Man, maybe there were some things better back then. I want these people on this list.
Homosexual who likes pink ponies? I laugh.
Oh man, I wish you had the video.
Because the insult itself has lost meaning to me. In fact, I take pride in being a vessel for social change. And that's coming from a straight guy who loves the ladies. That's right.
Oh my god.
We fight for money. We fight for partners.
We like to fight.
Truly, it's our greatest blessing and most terrifying curse.
Our greatest blessing? What the hell am I talking about? We wage war. Our greatest blessing. Here's a picture of an elephant getting stabbed.
Without our aggressive nature, we would not be the dominant species on the planet.
Picture this. An average rom-com. An overly joyful girl that falls for a chud. A chud blander than school lunch. A chud blander than Kazuya. Alright, I might be gassing it. But even with this chud, there are great characters. The humor actually makes you laugh, and the dub is goated. Well, you, my friend, have visualized the premise. For you and I are polar opposites. First time I seen this, I was chatting around and doom scrolling reels. I came across a clip from the show and something sparked. A funny, relatable scene and a good dub? I was hooked. I had to watch as soon as possible just off of that. So when I finally had the time, I got comfortable and turned on. So we start off the first episode and we have a get ready with me. And she already gets extra points. She didn't start the get ready with me in her fucking underwear. Them TikTokers be wildin', bro. But this get ready with me is being done by our main character, Suzuki, a very joyful girl who looks scarily similar to Bulbasaur and has a crush on this dude, Tani. She said hi and my man hit the most nonchalant hi back. And it got her geeking. Tani moving like Sasuke in his prime. Well, sorta. So the thing is, Tani is like Sasuke, but he's a Sasuke with no aura. He's a chud Sasuke. Sasuke had every girl all over him like Sykkuno in his prime, but Tani only has one girl on him, Suzuki. And the way Suzuki likes this man, you might as well say everyone likes him because it equals it. Maybe even more. She is falling for Tani hard. Like, this is bad. Not gonna lie, Suzuki is 100% on Team Yearners, because most would hang up their jersey at this point. To those that keep persisting talking to people that just respond with such dryness, teach me your ways, please. With this level of commitment, this YouTube channel would be booming. But as Suzuki is being desperate as humanly fucking possible, we get the first instance of greatness.
I know I always end up yapping your ear off, but the truth is, I'm desperately in love with you.
Did you catch it? The first instance of great dub. With the combination of great dub and voice acting, they actually convey to me that these are actual high schoolers that use slang right. Overall, I think the show goes crazy in using modern slang and just talking like regular people. It's genuinely giving respect to the dub medium. And that shit means something to me. But I know like 10% of y'all watch the dub, so like I'm not gonna talk on it too much. Maybe, I don't know, I might just be yapping. But we have Suzuki's group chilling and eating and chatting it up. And we get a look into Suzuki's character more. She kind of gives off a little bit of LARPing. Bro, you don't even know what LARPing stands for. Live action roleplay. In Side Rant, words evolve and lose its meaning. Just because I say someone is LARPing does not mean they're on their way to the Renaissance Fair or is genuinely in the flow state on a Discord call. With Suzuki, there's definitely a vibe of I need to fit in and I can't be myself around others. So I hope they delve into that more. But that aside, Suzuki catches Tani all alone, and at that point, ladies and gentlemen, we have an ISO. Suzuki pulls up and asks to walk home with him. And shit, we're up. But at the same time, I'm like, there's a presence in the air. This might actually be the most cliche shit of all time. Like, watching this, I was like, damn. I feel like I was Deku looking at the past users because I've seen this shit 20 different times. At this point, the only thing saving it from me calling it basic as hell was the dub and the fact that I was waiting for the clip I seen on Instagram. I've kind of always had this rule since quarantine. When I see a show based off like a clip I seen on social media, it's a rule that I have to keep watching until I get to the clip that I saw. And in quarantine, I did this with Naruto, and let's just say the clip was from Shippuden. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Mind you, the clip was from a filler episode. I was fucking heated. It wasn't even a a good filler episode. It was a bullshit ass filler episode, bro. But Naruto's tough. So I digress. Also, a little too much of a side rant ramble. My fault, OG. But we got Tani and Suzuki walking home. Suzuki is displaying genuinely the worst Riz I've ever seen in the world, bro. The girls that look at you and try and riz you with Conqueror's Haki have better Riz. She's out here talking like a robot. This is not Tomodachi life, big bro. But somehow the horrible Riz is slightly working. She's slowly chipping her way to victory. And as Suzuki is having a generational fumble, their hands touch. You know, some calm romance shit. And this show really wanted to show that they're different. And my man Tani grabs Suzuki's hand. And hell yeah! But also, oh my gosh, nigga, we're really out here gambling. We're feeling like Hikari, because holy shit, this got to be the most despicable 50-50 of all time. She could have easily have not been feeling him, and he would have been cooked.
Is this real life? He's holding my hand. My sweaty, sweaty hand.
Never mind, bro. I don't even know why I thought that. You need to have the IQ of a water bottle to not know she likes him. And after the nastiest Hail Mary I've seen, Tani sees a group of students and drops the ball. Strategic play? I don't know. But Suzuki's geeked to the max and she woke up late. I don't think I've ever been so geeked to the point that I wake up and I'm fried. And I've been pretty geeked. I also do have like 100 alarms and I wake up to this. And when she arrived at school, my man Yamada straight calls out Suzuki saying that she was walking with someone. And she's feeling flustered, so she popped her ult and said,
"It's not like that, dude!"
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, that actually gave me like a physical reaction. Every time I rewatch this, the secondhand embarrassment brings every wrinkle out of my face. And wow, bro. I know Tani felt that shit in his heart. I know I would. That shit would have had me sick. And nah, she's real life stressing, literally quaking in her boots, bro. And with her statement, Tani apologizes for his 50-50 gamble, getting rid of all the greatness. And Suzuki knows she's fried now. And in her moment of weakness, her friends tell her to go chase her love and go for what she really wants. And then she runs. And she runs as fast as an unathletic person could. Oh my gosh, Suzuki. She's looking straight like snow cone, bro. Like for real though, this low-key pissing me off. Cause how are you running slower than your walking speed? You can't make this shit up. But Tani's reliving the fumble in his head. That's probably what allowed the tortoise to catch up to him and then proceed to yell. Now, I'm not gonna lie, love is crazy, but I'm not gonna be messy. And yeah, that's really the first episode. I'm not gonna lie, when I was first watching this episode, I was low-key messing with it because, like, unlike the common romance animes, we got a confession right off the bat. Now, I'm not saying this makes it better in any way because, like, I would actually argue it's better to see a connection be built before a confession rather than just, you know, hopping into it. But I low-key respect the Horimiya method. Like, they wasted no time whatsoever. And we hit the next episode, and Suzuki's friends are already getting acquainted to Tani. We love friends like this, man. My man Yamada just walked up and started yapping. And as the group is getting along with Tani, Suzuki's overthinking to the max since she really doesn't know how to talk to guys. Like, at all. All her riz is from shoujo. The fucking Gojo x Gato fanfic is her Ankyridian to Riz. And for some reason, she decides she's gonna be king of the girlfriends and wants to ask Tani to walk home with her again. And I mean, it's a start, and I'm low-key liking the vibe of this dynamic. I think it's great that Suzuki's nervous because, like, just because you green the shot does not mean it's all sunshine and rainbows right after. You still gotta get comfortable and build a connection to the person. Now, for her, though, I ain't gonna lie, bro, it's a little OD, but nonetheless, I enjoy it. And on this walk back, we're making no progress if we're gonna keep it a buck. However, there's an opportunity and Suzuki took that shit immediately. She saw that Tani had something on his mind and decided to ask him what he was thinking about.
Good, because the man's a yapper.
So they go back to the park and Tani talks about Suzuki and how she didn't want people